Hello, and good evening, Flickin' Fanatics. It is your host, Jesse Swift, accompanied as always for these Boba Fett reviews with my co-host, Sean Wingblade. And as you can see with this very beautiful thumbnail, we have a special guest today, and that is previous Star Wars champion of the movie trivia, and that is Andrew DeMolanta joining us here, the Hunter. And we are pleased to have him on the show today. And I get to play this intro one last time because we are talking about the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. Here we go. I never fail at doing intros. But hey, guys, what's up? Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Assuming that they're not currently watching, I will say that we saved the best for last. And in honor of this, because I will never probably have an excuse again, I'm wearing my Quirky Mercs hat so that we can represent. Look at that. One of us earned gold for the faction. The other one competed.
Oh, don't be too hard on yourself. Every division is hard to compete in.
It's true. There is no easy division.
There's no easy
like
path.
every other division in the movie trivia schmodown. Like I don't want that.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, if you're not familiar with Andrew, he competed in the movie trivia schmodown and has many impressive accolades within the division and the whole tournament as itself. Also, if you haven't watched his TikTok, this guy knows his Star Wars and produces some really great content on there. Yeah. Nobody else that I know can mimic or mouth the entirety of the Star Wars Skywalker saga. Where's the Rogue One love? Can we get some K2SO monologues?
That's the next one I have planned. It's the next one. I'm going. It's like I've hit the trilogies. It's like I haven't done a standalone. So yeah.
That is Mr. 5150 right there.
Thank you.
However, not the only person to go sudden death on this screen, because I, in case anyone forgot, 1314 or 1413, that was something to remember. Where's my nomination?
There were many people in the community voting for you.
I know. I was looking at it. There was the love, but once again, not recognized by the Schmodown, just like my correct answer of Superman the movie. But without any further ado or prolonging, let's get into talking about this episode and this series, the third season from Disney Plus Star Wars, but the first season of the Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian season 2.5. We got a lot of different things to talk about, but let's start off with Andrew's thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett as a whole, kind of condensed. I know there's a lot of feelings in the last 7 episodes, but positive, negative, where did this show end up having you feeling?
I mean, going into this season or the series, I should say, like I wasn't when it got announced at the end of the last Mandalorian season, I was like, okay. I wasn't like, there's a lot of people in the community who were like, oh my god, Boba Fett. I was like, well, okay, cool. I didn't really need a Boba Fett series, but I'm happy we got it because it's a character that's so beloved in the fandom, and he gets so much screen time and didn't get to do much when he was on screen.
Would you agree with me that that's a little bit of a double-edged sword when somebody is already a beloved character in the fandom?
Yes, I would agree with that. But like I went into this like, okay, we'll see what we got. But then I was really enjoying the format of it. It's like the episode was kind of split between present and past. You get to see him on like a dual storyline path. I really enjoyed it. So when that kind of went away, I kind of didn't lose interest. It's just like the flavor kind of changed for me. And like this last episode, the finale kind of like summed up how I felt about the series. Was there's a lot of great moments, but his like, you know what I mean? His flame kind of got stolen by other story beats. And I was like, especially the last 2 episodes before the finale. It's like it was basically Mando season 2.1, or you know what I mean, like 2.5.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like I wanted more out of Boba, and it's like because the problem with having like other major characters pop in, like we all love the cameos. I cried when Luke showed up in the last episode, like just all that stuff. But the second like those people like Ahsoka, Luke, and Mando show up in another show, it ceases to be about the main character. Because it was like having Vader in Rogue One. The second he comes on screen, it's no longer a Rogue One, the Star Wars story. It's Vader's on screen. It's all about
movie,
Vader.
What's everyone talking about when it's over?
Right. The final scene.
Exactly. So like that was kind of my gripe with the series was like the last two episodes with Mando. Save it for the next season. I would have loved like just because you're already hinting at it, like if you would have shown up and said, "Oh yeah, I had to visit a friend," you're like, "Who's he talking about? He's talking about Grogu? Is he talking about this?" We'll find out in the next season. So we have that hype leading up to that. And I felt like you should have spent those last two bring Cad Bane in the episode that Mando showed up for the first time. Yeah. Then you get more because like he's in spoiler alert, he's only in 2 episodes and then you kill him off. So it's like I really wish they would just let those last 2 episodes develop the relationship with Finnick. Because I love that little dynamic they had before they showed off. It's like, no, it's not. Calm down. It's not time yet. So I really wish they would have spent more time with Boba, focusing on how, because they were doing really well up until Mando showed up, and then it's like they forgot all about him. So
it makes you wonder how they're going to lead into Mando season 3 as well. Because if you didn't watch Boba Fett for whatever reason, maybe you're like, oh, I just like Mando. I didn't bother with Boba Fett, or I fell off after 1 or 2 or 3 episodes. You don't know how Mando got Grogu back. You might be lost in the dark. So I guess that'll prompt you to go back and watch. But a lot of people have this thing where it's like, oh, I have to go do homework to figure out what's happening in my favorite show.
You definitely could have done the reverse and had Mando maybe make reference to something that we haven't seen. And then when season 3 kicks off, the first 2 episodes maybe are what he referenced in Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the show is a little mismarketed. Because what it was advertising, we almost didn't really get until the finale, which was this Godfather-esque, like Mos Espa mafia war. And that's what I was waiting for. And we get like teased with it starting in the first couple episodes, but those episodes are very prominently flashback heavy and Tusken stuff. And even, was it episode 4 when he goes and gets the fire spray?
Yeah,
I think flashback stuff, and like it's cool, but that's not what I'm here for. I was here for what's it look like for Boba Fett trying to take over a position that he has no experience with. And right when it's like, okay, the flashbacks are done, like we're caught up, no more back to tank, we're in the modern day now. So that's when I was finally tuning in. I was like, all right, I'm ready for this storyline. And then we get 2 episodes of Mando, which is such conflicting feelings because I was like, I love Mando, but like we just got there. And then we're left with 1 episode after that. And I was like, that's not enough time. Like I wanted 7 episodes present, maybe an episode that had some flashbacks in it, like a little here sprinkled in there. So I was left feeling underwhelmed, for lack of a better word, because I just
unsatisfied was something that left me with, because I felt that last episode really wasn't earned in the right, because like you said, they're hinting at this big like mafia war, but it's like, again, use those last 2 episodes to start building towards that and see, like, because like that relationship he has with Finnick is like, well, you need to do this. Well, I want to do this, but I need to do this. So spend those last 2 episodes really setting that up. And then that, because this last episode, great moments, so many great moments. It's just, I felt like I was just like trucking through sand to like get to where it when we need to be to the next big moment. Then it's like, once that next big moment, yeah, I did too. But you know what I mean? It felt like you didn't, the stakes weren't really there.
It's my money and I need it now.
It's my money and I need it now.
I want to introduce Andrew to our Streamlabs sound effect. Just
I was like, it has to be some kind of donation.
Yeah. Shug donated $3. Thank you so much, Shug, for always supporting the channel. You are the man. He said, do I watch Boba Fett? No. Am I here to support 2 of my favorite people in the Schmodown? And Sean? Love you, Sean. Yes.
Come on, Shug. What a backhand
I really
compliment.
thought when he said two people in the Schmodown, I was like, it's Andrew and Sean. I'm nobody's favorite. I think my wife's favorite is Rachel Cushing, so I'm not even my wife's favorite. But yeah, well, Shug, after our glowing review thus far of Book of Boba Fett, I highly suggest you go and check it out.
I still point to people towards it because it's still Boba Fett. There's, like I said, this series is full of like moments, like, you know, if you're, it's a lot of there, I say fan servicey moments, but they hit so hard. Like the last two episodes with Luke, I was like, oh, you're so much like your father. Immediate tears,
right?
Unbelievable tears, like sobbing on my couch, could not control the tears because it was a moment that
is kind of mid-tier Star Wars. I think there's definitely more disappointing things in the Star Wars universe, but it's not the height of Star Wars either. And that means for me, it's worth watching because, like, if you want to, I know it's debatable, but I think maybe the prequels, or, you know, depending on how you feel about Last Jedi, that could be considered like the lower end of Star Wars, depending on how you feel. But it's still all watchable. It still all has redeeming qualities. The very worst thing outside of the holiday special that Star Wars has to offer is worth watching. So I would say the same thing about Book of Boba Fett. Do I wish there was more to it, or that it was possibly executed better? I do. So it has lacking elements, but like you said, there's highlights in it. If you would have told me a year ago I was going to see Boba Fett riding a Rancor, I wouldn't care about anything between that moment and seeing Boba Fett riding a Rancor.
Like a bantha.
like a bantha, exactly. But I do agree with Allison. A training montage would have been nice. We set up that he sympathizes with it, but then he's just like, now I'm going to write it. Okay.
Yeah, and we never got his name. We were all like, "What's the Rancor name?"
We were
never got it
on this show. I think a little bit of which one was that?
Randy the Rancor for sure.
We
were waiting for that training because I was waiting for the training montage because we got that with the Tuscans where he was teaching them to ride speeders. I was like, we need Danny Trejo for 10 minutes teaching him how to ride the Rancor. We just need a little bit of fun, show him messing up a little bit, but then learning and getting there eventually.
My wife Lauren and I wanted to name him Ranky because obviously it's shorthand, but also they probably stink a little.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I remember people saying like they should have been Django. I was like, two on the nose. Two on the nose.
I mean, yeah.
It's two on the nose.
So let's talk about overall, because we talked about our feelings kind of of the whole show. Andrew, what are some of your highlights of this episode in particular?
This episode in particular, obviously Grogu coming back and like the whole, well, what decision is he going to make? And he immediately, I thought we were going to have to wait till Mando to get his decision. And it's like, no, he chose to go back to his daddy. And I have my own like theories on that, like whether like, because I hear a lot of people like, like why is Luke dealing in absolutes and like you can only choose one. It's like I think Luke's lesson is no matter what Grogu chose, that's Luke's lesson. So that's my own little speculation on that. Obviously Grogu coming back. I like it's such a small dumb reference, but when they're fighting, I can't remember the names. Thank God there's nothing I have to know for the show. The name of those big battle droids.
The Scorpy
something. They said it in the episode. Yeah.
She said they had a Scorpinet droid.
Yeah.
The droidicazillas.
Yeah, exactly. Like the minute the shield comes, like, oh, giant droidicas, awesome. Mm-hmm. But like the shield comes up. It's just a stupid small detail that I love of Mando saying, "Oh, our projectile weapons have too much velocity, so we can't get to the shields." And it immediately goes back to that Clone Wars episode with Saw Gerrera, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka teaching his people how to get through the shields. Like, oh, you throw the grenade too fast, it's gonna bounce right off of it. So you got to roll it slowly to get through the shields. I was like, oh, that's Dave. That's Filoni, being aware of all of his stuff he's created. To like, yep, the shields or weapons have too much velocity. I was like, that's such an amazing detail that the casual fan right over your head, but canon junkies would be like, oh, it's like that episode, yeah. So it's just dumb stuff like that I really enjoyed about this episode. Like I said, so many great moments. It's just getting to those moments has felt like,
okay. These shows, both Mandalorian and Boba Fett, I think have done so much for the prequels. and like making us appreciate the best that they had to offer, or some of the ideas that like worked so well on paper that maybe weren't executed perfectly. You know, like the N1 Starfighter. Who wasn't happy to see that back?
I want one so bad.
Where's
the model kit? Yeah, where's the model kit? I want it now.
Chromed out with just like slivers of yellow left over.
So good.
Sweet. Oh yeah,
it's great. Sean, throw a moment out there that really worked for you in this episode.
In this episode, it made me this. I think I was listening to Christian on the Sith Council. I think their review earlier today, and I think he put it best. This was the best episode of all the Boba stuff, which
I agree.
Which might be telling because it had so many other characters in it. And the last two episodes were kind of the best episode of the series, which made me realize how much I think I was settling for the first 4 episodes of this series, where instead of enjoying and like looking forward to seeing them. But to point out to this episode, I think I'll give it like I'm gonna steal from the action guys and give it like a fist pump moment. It was, and I have a picture of it. It was when the Rancor tore apart.
Do it.
Yeah, exactly. He just goes, do it. Boom, just tears it in half. And then he goes to town on the other one, and I don't know if I got any more shots of that. Oh, and as soon as Cad Bane shows up, he goes,
"Oh
yeah."
Only Cad Bane is not filling his shorts in front of a Rancor.
Yeah, just like, whatever. Back off.
I think my highlight has to be, it's kind of an element of the episode, I guess. It's not an exact moment, but the whole Western shootout vibe. Like, I understand that kind of stretches throughout a lot of it, but when we have like snipers getting shot out, and then you have people in vehicles coming through, and just the varying like constantly elevated sense of action that all felt very Western. I think that is where Robert Rodriguez shines. I think it is the action bits, but I think whether it's Dave Filoni or I don't know if Robert Rodriguez did any of the writing for it, there was dialogue or rationality moments that didn't quite work, but I'll get into that with the negatives. Seeing 2, Mandalorians or adoptive Mandalorians flying around with their jetpacks,
yeah, it was so
shooting
cool.
people. That was my fist bump moment. That was my Breakfast Club, fists in the air. I love seeing that, and also Fennec Shand just excommunicado the entirety of the crime families. I think put a stop to that real quick. Oh, look at that shot. That's
so
great.
Cool.
Yeah. They're fighting back to back, just going around. That was awesome.
I think pausing for a brief moment, it would just be a good opportunity to bring up that.
We got another Streamlabs from Miss Alice Salamoni. Thank you. And aptly admitting to her own fault.
It's my money and I need it now!
It's my money and I need it now!
I pressed that button like 10 seconds ago.
Go
ahead and read it out, Sean.
Sean yelled at me for to stop donating to my own channel. But I refused to listen. So thank you, Alice. Also, the real star we should have gotten more of was truly Chrysanthemum. R.I.P. the Gamorrean guards.
Truly, yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Don't you mean what did Harloff call him?
Piggies?
Well, yeah, it was like Lionel Richie and the pigs.
I guess so.
Because there was the guy that was one of the mods that got shot that looked like Lionel Richie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if I got a shot at him. He might be. Yeah, he's over there on the corner. He's over there.
So they said these are the only people that die in this episode were Lionel Richie and the pigs.
They get backed off this cliff, and I was like, oh, they got to get saved somehow. They didn't even put up a fight. They just immediately got their weapons stolen.
He didn't want to get poked in. That's
I guess. I
don't know.
I guess they weren't that good of a guard.
Well, here's my problem. Boba Fett has, like, without the Freetown folk, Boba Fett has essentially about 6 allies, plus maybe like some of the mods. And this city's huge. And he's the guy got Black Chrysanthemum guarding like one whole city block. He's got like the couple of mods over here. And so he's got like him, Fennec, and Mando. And I'm like, you needed an army, because the Pikes have an army. it definitely felt like he was severely underqualified for this fight. And then the one good idea he has is to go to the Jabba's palace, back to the palace, and like fortify something and like create a plan. And they're like, "Oh, you can go hide away in your fortress, but we're going to protect the city." It's like, well, the Pikes are here to kill you, not the civilians. Like, the Pikes got nothing against the people of Mos Espa. They're trying to take out Boba because Boba's the one stopping the spice. So that whole plan to me made no sense.
I mean, it kind of speaks because I hear people talk about the problem of like Boba's going soft, and it's like, well, he's trying to be a good leader because like that Viking, when they first showed up, but people was like, he's just gonna come in and shoot them in the face. That's what Boba Fett does. And it's like, he turns around and he hires them for muscle. It's like, okay, it's a new Boba Fett trying to lead people in, and that stuff. So I think he's trying to be like a good leader, have faith in his troops and stuff like that. So it's like, but I do agree. It's like, you have a palace where you can fortify and like
with a little thing called the fire spray. The Pike Syndicate wouldn't have been bantha fodder compared to the fire spray flying over.
And your and your Rancor is sitting right there too. So it's like you wouldn't have to jet off to go get it and then come back to the fight. So I get why, for both writing reasons and for him setting an example, but it's still, I agree that
like, conflict, it makes sense.
Yeah, it made sense in the context of storytelling, but like
it doesn't stand the test of the magnifying glass to the to the script and to the storytelling.
Yeah,
but it did, as Mike said here, it did create an insane amount of fun. I think more of my problems kind of came to the surface upon the second watch. The first watch, I was like, yeah, that was pretty fun. But then when there's a lot of like rationality and things that gets questioned, then you're like, But then again, I think Finnick really remains the brains of this whole season. And sometimes Boba listens to her, sometimes he doesn't. But I feel like everything that comes out of her mouth is the right idea or the right plan. And I was like, she should be running this. Give me the Finnick Shan season, like series.
Yeah.
And it's like her running Mos Espa or something like that, maybe inspired by Boba. But I think she's got what it takes.
That's why I wanted to. That's why I wanted to see more of that relationship kind of develop, because like he obviously like respects her opinion and respects like how she does things. Otherwise, he wouldn't kept her around. So, because again, I love that moment of when he almost goes up against Cad Bane. And he's like, I can take him. And she's like, no, do this on your terms, not his. This is not a smart move. Let's regroup and calm down. And it's like, that was a fantastic moment that we didn't get enough of to develop that relationship more, because I love the dynamic they have. There wasn't enough of it leading up to this point, other than the flashback. Hey, you saved my life. I'm indebted to you. I guess I'll stick around. It's like, okay.
She always seemed like the smartest one in the room. And I think it kind of proved how much Boba didn't know what he was getting himself into. He's like, I want to be in charge. Okay, but do you know how to be in charge? Are you more than just a bounty hunter, a hired person?
Yeah, it seems like Boba was always better at killing than thinking, is what this show kind of demonstrates. Because he kind of relies on everything to make the decisions for him, whether they're better or worse. I feel like rarely did Boba come up with his own plans, except for the train heist, which was one of the highlights of the season, honestly. Did anybody not cry when Grogu hopped into Mando's arms? Or is that just maybe
I wouldn't say I cried, but
I know Allison probably was at home, saw them. Okay, well, let's talk about, we hinted at some of it a little bit, and if we come up with some more positives, we can. But what didn't work about this episode? Because I think most of us can agree it wasn't perfect. It was fun, it had highlights, but there were elements that we needed more of or could have been done a little differently.
I think I touched on it. More of the Finnick and Boba relationship. Give me more of that. I think that the second Grogu came into the episode, it ceased to be about Boba Fett. Anytime Mando and Grogu or the combination of the two are on screen, it's no longer a Boba Fett show. It's the Mando and Grogu show. So that, and I think that my biggest gripe about this episode was I didn't feel like I didn't get enough lead up to this final confrontation between the Pikes and Boba.
because story wise, it goes from 4 to 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just we spend a whole lot of time with Mando and Luke Skywalker, which again, man tears all day long. It's just I felt that we needed more lead. We needed more Cad Bane. Just needed more because I think a lot of people grasp that I hear is who is his main villain is the Pike Syndicate, but there's not one person that he's constantly struggling with. And I think Cad Bane would have been a fantastic role to fill there. It's like, oh, there he is again. We have this humongous history together, and he's constantly a thorn in my side. And just to bring him back sooner would have been great. So I think that's the biggest gripe for this is like I needed more lead up. I needed more stakes.
The muscle of the Pikes wasn't revealed until last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that would have been cool to see, like you said, throughout. Less flashbacks, more of the Cad Bane maybe blowing up. Was it Garza? Is that her name? Madame Garza?
Mm-hmm.
Sanctuary?
Flash
Cad Bane could have been doing all of that. Yeah, Flashdance when Flash Boom.
Yeah.
I'm sad that we lost that character. I enjoyed her introduction.
They did, to speak to that too, they did a lot of telling us something was happening without
showing us,
because they did the same thing with Boba himself going, oh, under our watch the town has been prosperous. When has it, like there was one scene with what's his name with the whole water thing with the mods stealing his water. That was the only scene we saw in the entire 5 episodes from Boba himself where he was doing anything for the town or the people.
And it's like, dude, you just showed up here. What do you mean it's been prosperous?
Yeah, I'm going to steer this from. But the show did seem a little bit McClunky. You know, it wasn't stitched together perfectly. Did you have that at the ready? That's
yep, I have it on the ready.
We could have used that. Where were you the other episode?
I also have this when I'm dragging on too long.
Shut up, stupid.
Points to anybody can tell me what that's from.
I
got nothing.
I can't. Unless was it?
It's Harloff himself.
Shut up, stupid.
It's Two Finger Toots.
Oh, okay.
I can hear him.
Back in the Schmoes nowadays. I could grab that. So I was like, it's an amazing soundbite.
Sean, I just see in the private chat, do you have to bounce right now?
I should be. Yeah. My kid has a baseball Zoom meeting with this new coach. So I'm going to try to multitask. I'm going to see if I can just listen to whatever's happening and hop back in. But I don't know where we were going with that. Yeah. But the same thing with the Pikes. Yeah. We heard about them, but we only saw like 12 of them get off the transport. I'm like, all right, how much of an army do they have? Well, apparently they paid off all of the other families in the town because they all double-crossed Boba. So that was interesting to see. And I'd like to see some fallout. Like a lot of shows, whether it be like a 22-episode series or even a 10-episode, whatever, there's always a little bit of wrap-up, right? You know, you finish off the big battle within the first 20 to 30 minutes of the 50-minute show, and then you got some time to show where everyone is. This one only had about 8 minutes or less. It's just them walking through the town, and then you see Din and Grogu, you know, jetting off into space. You don't know where any of the other people went. Where did everyone else land, and what's going on with them? So I would like to see a little bit of like, cool, we won this war, we won this battle. This is the consequences of their actions, I suppose. You know, him putting his stamp on the town if he is going to stay in charge, or if he's going to ship it off and give it to his mods and Chrysanthemum or whoever else is going to stick around, and maybe
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see Boba get off the. I would like to see him realize that, hey, he's not cut out for this, and go help Din with his siege back to Mandalore. With that,
well, yeah, because it was Boba. Well, no, I was thinking the reverse, but Boba said that like Mandalore was turned to glass. Yeah, and I think that it would be interesting for Boba to join Din. I enjoyed Boba more in Mandalorian season 2 than I did in his own show, and I think that's something that I would like to return to. Yeah. Another highlight that comes to mind is, how do you guys feel about Grogu being able to put down a Rancor? Sleep.
I mean, it like any force user, like it's like the Ezra effect of like connecting with animals. Like maybe that's one of his strengths because he's such a small, tiny little thing, and he was able to influence a giant rancor. So
that was the moment that my wife lost it. Like Grogu was being cute, and I was like, it gets cuter. And she's like, how about now? I was like, nope, it still gets cuter. And then it like wiggles up to the rancor and falls asleep. She's like, is it now?
Oh,
I was like, yeah, it's now.
Yeah,
he's a sleepy boy. They're both sleepy.
They're so tired.
They're like, oh, nap time.
Yeah.
With that, all right, I'm gonna hop out. I'm gonna try to hop back in. Maybe I'll be back.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much longer we're running here for.
You guys got this. You guys are great.
Thank you, Sean. Where would we be without you? I would have a lot uglier thumbnails. That's for sure. Can I ask? Would you? I'm going to ask you the same question, and I think I know the answer that we have in the chat right now. So everyone watching, if you haven't voted on the poll, please do so. I'm going to take a look at the percentages. But would you like to see a season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett? And what would you maybe like to see from it, since we don't have a next episode to discuss?
More Boba.
That seems like
half joking, half not. Yeah, because like you said, I really enjoyed seeing Boba in that sort of like background character role and because that was like a concern of Tamora Morrison at first, like, oh, I'm talking too much. And it's like, well, you're the main character. You gotta talk. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, maybe a little bit less of him is what, because that's what we're used to seeing him is background character. Just stand there and be cool and do the pew pew shoots every once in a while.
Yeah, it's hard to take somebody that has like 8 minutes of screen time and put them on the forefront because everyone spent like 4 years making up who Boba Fett was to them.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest part that this series had to overcome was everybody has their own little headcanon of how Boba Fett should act and how he should be. And this is basically taking all that and saying this is who Boba Fett is now. So maybe I think in season 2, maybe dive more deep again with relationships with like, does he really want to be a head of like the daimyo of Mos Espa? Does he really want to do that, or does he want to go back to the only thing he was ever good at? Type of situation, but
then, do we have 2 bounty hunter shows, and how do we make them different from each other?
Oh man, yeah, exactly. Well, I think if you, that's a great question, because I think Mando is going to be less of him going on, because that was one of my gripes about Mando season 1 and 2 was it was a lot of like, all right, I go to this planet, I'll do this one thing for you, but you got to do this thing for me.
Yeah,
and I do this thing for you. Yeah,
Boba Fett did feel less episodic than Mando did.
Yeah,
Mando was very like Western of the Week style, whereas Boba Fett was like, it was clunky, but here's an overarching story.
Yeah, give me more of that. Yeah, give me more of that with Boba.
Trajectory. And the trajectory for Mandalorian wasn't always super clear. Maybe in hindsight it is. I'm getting a little internet warning. I don't know if you're losing me or not.
You're getting a little pixelated, but yeah.
All right, I'm looking a little McClunky. I promise I'll do last time I'll say.
Thank you. Yeah, but I think that'd be fun, and I'm actually a little surprised that we didn't get Daniel Logan anywhere. Not even a little bit, like just one shot of him.
We got the flashbacks on Camino.
Yeah, but
my question was for what? Like, I felt like we were going somewhere. Like, we got these flashbacks, and it's like, there's Jango Fett dying, him holding the helmet. Here's him watching his dad leave on Camino. And I'm like, okay, what is... I was interested in it, but it didn't go anywhere. I was like, why is he remembering this? Why is he thinking about his father right now? And the only thing I can think of is Cad Bane saying you have too much of your father in you. And I was like, that doesn't feel like an earned line of dialogue. Like, there wasn't this discussion of the legacy of Jango Fett or anything like that. So if we do see a Boba Fett season 2 or a second book, I would like to see more of that. If we're going to do flashbacks, less so after the Sarlacc pit and more so telling the life of Boba Fett. And easy way to do that is have him always have the outfit on and have Tamora Morrison do the voice so that you don't have to do a recast or something. But I would love to know what Boba was doing like pre-Empire. You know, if we're going to flash back, that's what I would be interested in. I don't know how you feel about that or how the chat feels about that, but
I just want more Boba relationships with the people that, because now we have an established crew. Give me more, because Chrysanthemum, you know, they have a history. So, and you know, it's like it's always been about the job. Now he's working for Boba. I want to see more of that relationship. I want to see more of the Fennec Shan relationship and see how that dynamic works out. So maybe she is just like, oh, you're not doing it right or whatever. So
you bring up relationships, and that brings me back to Cad Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Cad Bane's dead? Because there was something about the lingering shot that gave me pause.
I mean, is anybody really ever gone in Star Wars?
Somehow Cad Bane returned.
Somehow. I was fully expecting, like, the end credit scene with the back to tank. I was fully expecting to see, you know, Cad Bane in there.
So too.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, oh well, I guess. Yeah, but he's already super old anyways. So I thought I just wanted to see more of him. Just 2 episodes with a live action kid. Like, I freaked out when it was at the end. It was like, oh, they actually did it.
I was not one of the people complaining about the look. I think
it was like any character jumping from an animated to live action. It's like, and then you have to get used to it. But the second my eyes adjusted and realized, like, well, you know,
it was the same thing with Ahsoka.
Exactly. So now, like, he looks so good. Like, especially like with the mouth. I only imagine it's all practical, because I
think the only thing that's not practical is there's CGI elements to the eyes.
Yeah,
but everything else is like makeup and prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah, I'm so glad they went that direction, because it'd be so easy. Like, hey, just, you know, mocap a dude and put CGI over him, because like the mouth looks so convincing, and like that's the one tip off. I was like, oh.
And fantastic. I feel like the prosthetics even encourage him more so to have that glint.
Yeah, that
lilt to it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine, and like that one TikTok and Twitter that was going around all social media, like, oh, I corrected Cad Bane. It's like,
everyone's trying to ride that high of the guy that fixed Luke Skywalker and got a job. Now everyone's like, I could do that.
I should have been on the episode when last episodes. I should have been on last week, because like I said, like oh my god, like
it felt like we were looking at Mark Hamill. I mean,
exactly. It was. I wanted to cry. It looks so good sometimes. I was like, wow, oh my god, and like I never thought in a million years I would ever have Ahsoka, a live action Ahsoka, and Luke Skywalker. Don't do this to me. I never thought I would see this in my entire life. I never thought I would see a live action Ahsoka on screen with Luke Skywalker. Like, give me more of this. And now all my head is wrapped around is, if I don't see Leia and Ahsoka on screen in the Ahsoka series, I will riot. It's like we got her with one of the Skywalker twins. Get her with the other one. Please get her with the other one, because then I will my life will be complete, because I need to see.
Sean's just off screen, just making Andrew miserable here. Well, I started making my point with Cad Bane. He had, I wouldn't have thought it was like a heart monitor or something, but there was a little electronic device on his chest that just kept blinking, and I'm like, is that a heart monitor? Is it saying that his heart is still beating, that he's alive? It just seemed like too much of a detail to be an accident or unintentional. And they could go either way.
And in true Filoni fashion, like, he'll find a way to use him again in some capacity, because you don't bring him into live action for only 2 episodes. A character that big in multiple of your of all of your animated projects, a character that big you don't bring into live action just.
It's my money and I need it now.
I've already read this question.
Money and I need it now.
And I do think it's more targeted for you, because if you want to call me out as a fake fan, you can. I love Star Wars, but sometimes that's not enough for some people.
If you like Star Wars, you're a Star Wars fan.
Thank you.
That's how it is in my book.
There's levels to everything. You know, you can like Marvel and not know everything about it.
No levels to me. It's just how long you've been a fan.
Exactly. Alan Smithy has tipped in $3. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We appreciate you so much. Also, these funds are helping me get to LA for a super secret Schmodown related something or another, but you guys don't know anything. You guys don't know anything. He says, hey, Jesse and Andrew, Do you guys remember when Boba was in prison with Cad Bane and Boba started a prison riot to help Cad Bane escape? Were there any other TV or movie moments with Cad Bane and Boba? Thanks. I hear some things. I do not know a lot.
Oh, that might have been. Was that Clone Wars? So much in Clone Wars. This is that I don't remember.
And then he was recently in Bad Batch, right?
Yeah, he was in Bad Batch. He fought Finnick. Wow, I have to rewatch. I'm actually in the middle of just like casually watching Clone Wars here and there. I'm not that far in. I'm only like 3 episodes in. I can't remember. This is an Alex Damon level question.
And then also, was it in the unaired episode where Boba got his dent, or is that?
Yeah, they I think that they alluded to that in this last episode. So
I like that he's had what now 30 years or so to fix that dent. He's like, nah.
No. Well, how many people know how to like fix Beskar? So only one so far in the universe right now.
Yeah.
So
well, Cad could have had a line about always going for the head or something, and then one of these. All right. Well, we are getting into the 45 minute mark, but I think it's a good time to approach wrapping up. Is there any Star Wars related things or any last thoughts that you have about the show that you want to get across that you haven't had the platform for?
Oh, it's a lot of it has I've already said. I went into this very basically like, all right, let's see what they got, and I came out of it pretty much the same kind of attitude. Like, okay, that was a fun time. If they give it a season 2, cool. If not, cool.
Not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, but I've said it everywhere. I am probably the most forgiving Star Wars fan you will ever meet. I'll find something good to say about anything in the Star Wars universe. There's a lot of good to come out of this show, especially in the past. In 2 very specific episodes, a lot of good in 2 very specific episodes.
Well, are we going to get you back sometime between May 25th and the rest of June to talk about some Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character in all of Star Wars. So for me not to talk about this show would be a crime.
Well, I know you're going to talk about the show. I'm asking you to talk about it with us and do us that pleasure.
Yes. Oh, awesome. Absolutely. Because I can't. It's May 25th. I will be in Anaheim. I will be at Celebration, and it will be my birthday. So,
Allison says, "I love Andrew. Say something nice about Star Wars TikToks."
I haven't done one in a while.
Which brings me to a great, let's say a great transition. But Andrew, where can people find you? Because I know there's several places. You got so many things going on. You are a busy guy.
Yeah.
Where can people hear you talk about Star Wars, Schmodown, and anything of the like?
So, social medias, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Drew DiMalanta, DiMalanta. I'm not very active on Twitter nowadays. That's because of my other social media platform, TikTok, at Rogue Leader Drew. I'm having an incredibly fun time with this. It's actually been responsible for a couple of jobs that I've gotten.
How many followers you got on there now? Because I know it's always fun.
I'm at like 2,400 the last time I looked. My last video just blew up. It's been doing really well. But yeah, follow me on TikTok. I want to reach 5,000 before Star Wars Celebration. I've said it I'll say it here too. Once I get to 5,000, if anybody's familiar with the Turk Poison Dance from Scrubs, a lot of you might know it as the Fortnite dance. I will do a TikTok of me attempting to do that dance once I reach 5,000. So I want to get 5,000 before Star Wars Celebration. Yes, do it.
I know whether you guys want to admit it or not. I know everybody watching right now has a TikTok profile or they watch people on TikTok. You said it's Rogue Leader Drew, right?
Rogue Leader Drew.
Go do it right now. If we have to lose all of our viewers right now just to get more followers on TikTok, I will allow it.
Propose then.
I will only negotiate with the head of the Pike Syndicate.
You mean the one that massacred your Tuscan family and blamed it on a speed bike gang?
Emotional, damn it!
I kept talking and then I was like completely interrupted by Sean just causing chaos behind the scenes.
That emotional damage is one of my favorite trends.
I say it every day.
So good.
But I also am like looking around because I'm like, I know I'm doing some kind of like probably racially inappropriate accent. But It
It's
does
fine.
crack me up.
It's fine. It's fine.
Andrew gave me a pass, guys. You hear that? I'm getting out there.
It's fine. You're imitating a TikTok. It's fine.
That's
But
right.
yeah, you can also find me on YouTube, Andrew and Nikki channel. We talk about Schmodown. We're on Beyond the Schmodown every Monday, and also we're going to be putting up a Radcast tomorrow, and then another one on Monday because not a lot of Schmodown going on right now, so we're trying to fill the air with Rad. So follow us there, Andrew and Nikki. Have a lot of fun just talking nonsense on Rad and talking Schmodown every week.
And before I give my blah, blah, blah and do some of my plugs, we got one more Streamlab from the always wonderful Suge Knight. And Suge says, quick question for you, Andrew. Have you watched Cobra Kai? Sorry, I didn't want to take away from Star Wars, but I had to ask Andrew. Also, Jesse, happy for your channel, which, by the way, we're almost at 250 subs, I think. Let's try to get to 300. You know what? Let's same goal. Let's get 300 subscribers by Star Wars Celebration, and let's get Andrew.
You'll be able to get that.
5,000? Is that
5,000. I'm gonna get to 5,000 before Celebration.
Let's do it. But
yes,
have you seen Cobra Kai?
It's on the list. He
is not yet a Cobra guy.
No, my queue is 300 miles long because I have other things I have to watch. Obviously.
Yeah, it's really easy to get behind. I still haven't seen the most recent episode of Peacekeeper, and DC and Marvel. That's my jam. So you get caught up on that. All right, I gotta take a deep breath because we have things to plug. First of all, let's. I'm actually going to plug another channel, but I am involved with it, and that is over on the I believe it's the Schmo Me the Money channel with Jeff Alterman, and that is Disaster Piece Theater. They're doing a watch along for Cats. Friday night, I believe. If you check out the channel Twitter, I think you can probably get some information on that. That's coming up. And also, if you guys are not already following us on our audio platforms, Allison Salamone, who is always very involved in the chat here and often on the channel, is doing a breakdown of some of the mental behind the scenes of all the different ongoings in some of our favorite movies, whether it be Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, all that kinds of good stuff. And the next episode, the first episode dropped February 1st, so that's on there ready to go. And the next one will be February 15th. So give yourself a happy Valentine's Day present to yourself and give that a listen the very next day. And also, we do not have a graphic for it, but coming up here shortly, if you didn't already get your tickets today, the Batman tickets went on sale. So we will be doing both a spoiler-free and spoiler review for the Batman. I hope you guys are excited. Sean and I, and possibly Scott Fox as well, will be on here to talk about spoilers. Andrew, you looking forward to the Batman?
I don't know if I'll be able to see it in theaters. I'll have to probably wait till it hits streaming. Just because I don't have time for anything anymore, other than sitting in my home watching stuff. But what a time to be a part of geek culture, man! It's a wonderful
just
time.
All of it.
All of it.
There's always something to digest.
No, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us, especially Andrew. Thank you guys so much for donating to the channel, keeping us afloat, help supporting the Schmodown career, as well as channel goals and things of that nature. Thank you so much, Mr. Sean Wingblade, for being involved, for trying to make us cry with Star Wars clips. Good guy. And Andrew, I know you're very busy, but hopefully this is not goodbye forever. Just goodbye for right now.
Yeah. Whenever you want me on, hit me up, see if it's the schedule.
Absolutely. We will do that, and we will abide by that. All right, guys. Until next time, keep it real. May the Fett be with you. May the Force be with you. Go follow Andrew on TikTok. All those good things. I'm just trying to do some time while I find the outro. There it is. All right. See you guys next time.
This is the sound of dun, 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 dun. It's the Flick and Reel Show. But